everybody, and welcome back to another, at this point, classic installment on this channel, a week of vegan breakfasts. There's many tasty ideas in this one. I hope these can be helpful to you in some way. But first, a quick word about today's new and different sponsor. Two friends of mine have been raving about Native for the longest time, and I never really understood the hype until I tried their products out myself. I only ever work with brands that I'm 100% convinced by, and boy, am I convinced. I've never owned a deodorant that worked this well. And on top of that, it's vegan, cruelty-free, aluminum, paraben, and sulfate-free. And they've got a plastic-free range too, which is made from sustainably sourced paperboard. Plus, Native is giving part of their profits to environmental nonprofits. Not to mention, this stuff gives you a fresh and dry feeling even after a good workout session. And they come in all kinds of cool scents. Like, out of the ones that I've tried so far, I like the vanilla and coconut one the best. It makes you smell like an expensive candle. The cucumber mint one is amazing. And the chocolate one has a very neutral and fresh scent to it. So 3 plastic-free deodorants usually cost $39, but if you want to try them, use my code MINAROME to get them for only $29. Link will be down below. My first breakfast of the year was inspired by this comment actually. So Miss Take suggested a sweet potato toast, but instead of baking the sweet potato, I went ahead and peeled it, cut it into chunks, and boiled everything for 10 to 12 minutes. I found this garlic-flavored tempeh in the fridge. I cut it into bite-sized pieces and fried it in a pan with a bit of oil on medium-high for about 6 minutes, or until golden brownness was achieved. To 1 to 2 handfuls of the cooked sweet potato chunks, I added a squeeze of lemon juice and some paprika tomato spice mix. I spread this on some whole grain toast, added some thinly sliced cucumber, some of the tempeh pieces, and some vegan sriracha mayo. And I also add some more of the tempeh, some tomato, and cucumber on the side. This was a very yummy and fancy morning toast. I would recommend this. As for New Year's activities, my family and I took a little hike around the forest. That was very fun. And I tried my best to do some journaling for the new year. You know, some fun inner reflection, soul searching, goal setting, all that stuff. You might know I'm a big proponent of healthy desserts for breakfast, or somewhat healthy desserts for breakfast. This one definitely falls into that category, a tasty apple, chocolate, and almond yogurt bowl. I chopped half of an apple into bite-sized pieces, as well as this raw chocolate brownie. It's made out of dates, cashews, unsweetened cacao, cashew butter, cocoa butter, and salt. To some protein soy yogurt, I first added a teaspoon of ground flax seeds and set that aside. To a tablespoon of almond butter, I added 2 teaspoons of melted chocolate. This tip I got from Emma's comment here. And then I brought everything together. To the bowl of yogurt, I added the apple chunks, the chopped energy bar, and the almond chocolate sauce. This was seriously so yummy. On to January 3rd, we've got another savory breakfast here. To a medium-sized pot, I added half a can of mixed beans, some pre-made tomato sauce, a small head of broccoli cut into florets, and a bit of water. I brought the heat up to medium-high, letting everything simmer until the broccoli was tender. Took around 6 or 7 minutes. I had this with some toasted bread, and that was it. Very low effort, very quick meal, but also super satisfying. The same day, I also made a dessert for my mom that I thought I'd share on here as well. It's essentially my layered cashew and cherry dessert recipe from a couple years ago, only I just eyeballed all the ingredients. Since I didn't have any vegan cookies, I had baked these super simple Streusel crumbles out of flour, salt, cinnamon, vegan butter, and non-dairy milk. I will make sure to put the exact notes for that in the description for those of you interested. I did some more baking on day 4. So the plan was to make a chocolate version of my sweet potato bread. Calling this thing bread is a stretch. It's like chocolate banana bread minus the bananas. Cook up some sweet potato, again boil it, peeled and cut into chunks for about 10 minutes or until soft. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Then thoroughly mash up the sweet potato using a fork or a potato masher. If you're afraid of having sweet potato chunks in this, you could also blend up all the wet ingredients using a blender or a food processor. You're gonna add the melted vegan butter, some non-dairy milk, apple cider vinegar, sugar, and vanilla. Give it a good mix. Combine your dry ingredients separately: flour, salt, unsweetened cacao, and baking powder. Then bring wet and dry together. And lastly, add your chocolate chips. I was looking for a 20-centimeter loaf pan, but I couldn't seem to find it. So I improvised, taking this 30-centimeter pan and placing a random mug inside to size it down a bit. Then I baked this for 45 to 55 minutes until it was light and spongy, and when you poke it with a fork or a knife, it comes out relatively clean. Let it cool down a bit, preferably all the way, before cutting it into slices. Adding the mug worked really well actually. It even gave the cake little bat ears. For breakfast, I had 2 slices with some more yogurt and berries on the side. What kind of breakfast fits this chilly weather better than a comforting smoothie bowl? So this bowl consisted of some frozen raspberries, frozen strawberries, ground pumpkin seeds, which my mom got from the organic store, cinnamon, ground flax seeds, and some cashews and dates, which had been sitting in a bowl of water overnight in the fridge. And then I also let them simmer on medium for another 20 to 30 minutes. Boiling them in water after letting them sit overnight is not necessary, but I find it kind of gives the cashews a different kind of cake-like flavor. Anyway, some unsweetened soy milk went in there as well. Thank you so much to whoever told me to switch to food processors to make smoothie bowls with. It is so much less stressful for me, and the outcome is way better, even when I try to use the Vitamix that my parents have. The link for this particular food processor will be in the description, since I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are gonna ask. I topped this off with some crunchy oat granola and a handful of blueberries. This tasted like a fancy strawberry ice cream, probably because of the cinnamon pumpkin seed strawberry combination. All day I was working on this paper I have to write for uni. I was tasked with analyzing the movie soundtrack of Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. It's this ridiculously expensive French film production with Cara Delevingne and Dane DeHaan, and Rihanna is in it too. Even though the plot is a bit confusing and the lines are terribly cheesy at times, I would still recommend giving this one a watch if you're ever bored, for the insane visual effects and that soundtrack alone. But also, I'm not a movie critic, so don't sue me if you hate it. This next breakfast was also super simple. It's a crispy barbecue tofu sandwich. I preheated the oven to 190 degrees Celsius. Took a block of firm plain tofu, cut it into 3 very uneven pieces. Then I took 2 plates. I filled one with some smoky barbecue sauce and the other one with breadcrumbs. I dragged the tofu first through the sauce, then through the crumbs, and then placed it on a baking sheet with parchment paper. I baked these for 30 minutes, flipping them halfway through. To the bread, I added some plain hummus and plain soy yogurt, inspired by my previous snack video. Then a slice of crispy tofu and some lettuce. On day number 7, Thursday, I made a little vegan brunch. We had porridge, fruits, and pancakes. For the oatmeal, I simply combined small cut oats, ground flax seeds, salt, and cinnamon. Why did I not add these to the saucepan directly? I don't know. To that, I then added some non-dairy milk and I let this simmer for 7 to 10 minutes while stirring frequently. For the pancakes, I combined the following things in a large mixing bowl: flour, baking powder, salt, sugar. Then I added unsweetened applesauce, non-dairy milk, also apple cider vinegar, mix together until smooth, and add about a teaspoon of orange zest and some dark chocolate chips. Bring a non-stick frying pan with a bit of coconut oil to medium-high heat. For each pancake, add about 1/3 or 1/4 of a cup and let them cook for 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Since I'd added a bit too much liquid, they didn't rise as much as I would have liked them to, but that's okay. They still turned out super fluffy and delicious. Also, my mom made this turmeric drink for us. There's oat milk in it, an apple, turmeric, pepper, and cinnamon. And that, my friends, concludes this first week of January for me, breakfast-wise. I hope you enjoyed this. If anyone is doing Veganuary, let me know in the comments how it goes for you. I would love to know. Also, thanks so much for watching this until the end, and thanks to Native for sponsoring this. I really appreciate it. Until next time, goodbye.
Read my mind, you can read my mind. You honey get to know how I feel inside. Read my mind, you can read my mind. You honey get to know.